Okay, I'm going to try and attempt to make a video. Alright, so this is a Ironbark. It's been in this pot for a couple of years. And I'm going to put it in an air pot. Just take off this old wire. Sometimes I cut it off, sometimes I save it. Because it's aluminium anodized wire and you can reuse it. I didn't really know what I was going to do with this tree. It's one of my first, and it actually came out of the guttering of my neighbour's place, 2 doors down. It was just a big long straight seedling about that tall. Roots were about 2.5 metres long, and I've just played with it, bent it. I'm going to change the style a little bit. Anyway, we've got to get it out of the pot. I've got all my tools, and I forgot one. Alright, so this is just a good old bread knife. And when you want to get something out of a pot, it's a good idea to loosen up the soil. And you're going to be cutting a lot of the roots, so this doesn't really hurt anyway. This tree's never been repotted. It's never been out of this pot. And guess what? This is one of my first trees because it's actually wired in. And I never wire in trees. As you can see, there's a wire there. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is take the bottom off. Just always put a screen in, and I always put a little layer of rocks just for the drainage. You don't have to do that. That's something I have done. I reuse all this, put it through a sieve, get all the rocks out, rather than rip them off. Just cut them like that, and then we can see what we're working with. There's a nice layer of roots there, so she's healthy, which is a good thing. Always a good thing. And we'll just chuck that down there. Alright, So you can see, I'll lift that up again. And we use a root rake. I like to use a little fork, just spread out. You can use a root rake, which I do use, and I probably will. It's just root it out like this. So I might even use it to start with. So when you start off, you just want to go straight out from the tree, just gently. I'll just do the edges first. Doing the roots is kind of fun. It's one of my favourite things. It's a bit scary to start with, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that scary. And you can see the roots. Yeah, it's curled around the corner. So you people that have done this before, it's nothing new. For beginners, this part can be quite scary. But it's something you've got to do. Because you want this all to look good and branch out and whatever your design is. It's the same with your roots. If you've got big thick ones and you've got little thin ones, I'll keep all the moss. I've just got a little shallow container with a little bit of water in it. So you can just see how we're teasing out the roots. So you just nice and gently. Anything that's crisscrossing like that, when you pull the roots through, it'll pull them straight, and you may get some ripping off. But they're your cross roots. Your nice straight roots will come through and they'll be unhurt. So you want your roots to fan out in a nice radial direction, like the spokes on a wheel. So that's the centre of the wheel. And because I've had it in a rectangular pot and I placed it a bit to that side, that's why you can see all the long roots here. And this side is a little bit stunted, which is okay because I'm going to change that. And I've got a little seedling there which I can plant. Just put that in the shade. That's a little bonus. And it's quite warm today. Whoop. It's probably, I don't know, not sure, 20 something degrees, low 20s. So I've just got a little sprayer here, which I just like to just wet the roots. You don't want them to dry out. You don't need to saturate them. I'm quite happy with this roots system. It's looking quite good. Got a big strong one there, and there's not a lot on this side, as you can see. It's all the other side. I'm going to change the angle of its planting. I don't want to. I really want to take all this off. What I want to do is put it more like that. So I'm going to cut that root off straight away. These are old scissors, so don't worry about it in the dirt, because the dirt will blunten your good scissors very quickly. So just use an old pair, as you can see. Not bad, and they keep them sharp. But if you're hitting rocks and bits of sand and stuff. Okay, so if you look at that, I don't think I need to completely bare root it. I just use my little fork. And you can see like that, it's fanning out quite good. I think I really did a great deal of big thick one there. I can bend it down, and I probably will for the moment, because I don't want to It's all pretty good. I'm just going to sit you there. Now the pot I'm going to put it into is this one. It's okay. Now in the bottom of your pot, because I've already done it, obviously you have a great big hole and then have a couple more holes. So I use just your regular fly screen you put on your door, like that. Cover the hole, stops bugs and things getting up, and it stops all the soil from falling into or falling out of the hole. Every time you water it, the soil will just come straight out. So we don't want that. Now that's a bit big for that, so I'm going to have to prune. Now looking at this, if I prune it, if I plant it like that, that's going to be way too high unless I bend it down, which I probably will for the moment. And I think I'm going to keep all the roots. I may just trim a little bit off. So, this one I don't particularly like. There's a funny one. Cut it straight off there. This one goes a bit strange. Cut you off. Yeah, and I'll put something. Stay there. I want something to wedge in that between those two roots. So I've got a little, some orchids growing here and some pine bark. So there's a bit of pine bark, and that will rot away. So if I put that like that, bend that up, and put that in. Yeah, that's it, and I'll be able to just tweak that up a bit. Yeah. I'm going to put this sort of to one side like that. So this is going to have to cut that. I'm going to have to cut that. And they're the big thick ones, so it'll knock them back so that the other roots get a chance to catch up. And I'll fix these things later. See that one, I'm not real sure. Once I put that like that, there, I can pull that down. And that's going to need to be cut. One of these I'm just going to hopefully just stimulate some new growth. That's okay, I don't mind that. Alright, now does that look silly? Let me have a look. Yeah, I think it does look silly. Whereas if we do it that way. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know if that looks any better either. Okay, let's have a look. I don't know. Yeah, I think I like it like that. I'm gonna do it like that. Got some dirt. I'm gonna. Okay. Because there's a bit of a hole there, you want to put a little bit of a mound, and then as you put it on, just squish it down a little bit. I'm going to. Haven't been saying a lot, have I? I'm trying to concentrate, trying to get the right angle. Alright, now with a little stick, I like to, some don't, some reckon you don't need to do this and you don't need to do that. But it's up to you. I'm going to put a rock on that, which I should have here. So that root's going to keep going down instead of trying to spring up. And The soil I use is pre-mixed. It's a, I don't know if it's a specialty bonsai mix, but it's a very fine, it's got a lot of sand in it. In Australia it gets really hot, like here it's late spring and it's quite warm. It's going to get a lot hotter. So I personally like a deeper pot with more soil in it. You know, there's little ones like that, mate, you'd be watering 5 times a day, maybe more. I reckon you could kill a plant in half an hour in our summer if you had something that was that thick. And if it was just like acadama and perlite and all non-organic stuff I'm trying to say, it would dry out so quick that your trees would die in half an hour, unless you had an automatic system that just kept them wet all day. I'm just some of these surface roots, I'm just making sure that they're coming out laterally. As I say, it's like the spokes of a wheel. So you want your roots to come out from the centre of the trunk, go laterally or radially out, just like the spokes on a wheel. And I'm doing this now because gum trees like the heat, but they also like water. And this is a local ironbark, as I said. Came out of a roof guttering 2 doors down, out of a house that was pulled down and is not there anymore. And I'm not really sure where I'm going with this. So we're just playing it by ear. This tree would be 2 years old, maybe 2.5. And I say it started off as a little, about that thin, little whip about that high, with a couple of branches and a root system probably 2.5 metres long, growing along the gutter. And I thought, I'm going to bend the crap out of that, and as you can see, I did. And really, when trees at this stage, there's probably not a lot of art to it. It's more horticultural, I suppose. You just want to keep the tree alive, you want it healthy, and you want it to grow, and you want it to thicken. See, I'd like that base is slowly getting a little bit of root flare, and as the roots grow, it will, as the roots feed the trunk hopefully evenly from all the way around, the tree will thicken and you'll get that nice root flare that everyone talks about. And it's true, when you finally get a little tree that's starting to get a root flare, that makes you feel really good. It's really exciting. I don't think I need to do any more than that. Just put a bit of moss on it. Okay, tree's quite stable. I didn't really take a lot off it. This is just the same moss that came off originally. And for people just starting off, I mean, I'm no expert, but the moss has a lot of good benefits. You know, it instead of the top layer of your soil going dry and the roots sort of dying off because they can't stay there, the moss gives a moisture level right up to the top, and therefore the surface roots can grow right under the moss there. They can, you know, sometimes they grow through the moss, but it's very beneficial for the roots of your tree. I recommend, if you can get some moss, you don't have to buy it. You usually find it growing somewhere in between the bloody cracks in your pavement or your sidewalk, or, you know, a shady part in your backyard somewhere. You can easily find a bit of moss somewhere. Unless you live in the desert and it never gets wet. This stuff is just, you know, just out of the backyard. And hopefully that will spread and grow. Just give that a bit of a... And this isn't the finished product, this is just, you know, will be in this pot for a couple of years, and hopefully the tree will get bigger and bigger, and I may cut bits off it. I probably will. The whole design could change as it gets older, who knows. You know, and sometimes you get branches that'll die off. You want to cut it here and you hope something grows and it doesn't, and then you go, oh well, I'll have to develop this side of the tree. So, you know, this may go, it probably will. I sort of grow this out this way, so I'm hoping. Have a look at it like that. There's a big hole here, so hopefully this will grow out like that and grow up. This will be another apex over here. We'll decide what I'm going to do. Maybe one at the back, so it might be, you know, if you can envision that. Who knows? Anyway, that's my repotting. And on the Spinning Tree Bonsai turntable from Adrian Eggleton. He's on Facebook. Stainless steel turntables, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Alright, so that's about the best I can do. And we might come in a little bit closer and just have a little look. Who knows? It was one of my first ones. I probably went a bit stupid, you know. Could even, I don't know, one day I may even cut all this off and get rid of it. I don't know. Maybe literati style, or I could just develop that side. Like I say, living art, nothing set in stone. Go with the flow. It's quite ugly at the moment, but I don't know, I kind of like it. Anyway, thanks guys. This has been me, Jim Farrell. See you mate. See you guys. See everybody.